Resident Evil series is part of the survival horror genre, and this game is no different. Okay, if you haven't played this game yet, or any other game in the series, you're probably looking at this thinking it looks like a first-person shooter. Well, actually, if you've played the Fallout franchise starting with 3, you know those games are RPGs with first-person shooter elements, and that's what this game is, only instead of an RPG, it's horror. Sure, you shoot stuff with guns in the first person perspective, but this game has more variety than just shooting things. The first moments of gameplay are you exploring the Winter's home while carrying Rose. It's here you basically explore their home, look at photo albums, see what they've been up to, etc. Then after the incident with Chris, you just trudge through the snow in the dark, and after some time of doing that, you then start carrying a pistol and more weapons come as you progress through the game. And of course, after a bit of story progression and Mother Miranda and her 4 subordinates are introduced, the village, as mentioned in the title of the game, serves as a central hub between the layers of the 4 subordinates of Mother Miranda. While the game has some exploration elements to it, you tackle these layers in a linear fashion. You start with Castle Demetress, where Lady Demetress and her daughters lie. I like the castle because it has elements from several games I like. I think of it like 3 things: Metroid Prime, a Zelda dungeon, or Luigi's Mansion. What the 3 of those have in common is non-linear level design where progressing is like solving a puzzle. Though of course pre-Breath of the Wild dungeons and Luigi's Mansion have a set way of solving puzzles. You do get chased by Lady Demetress and her daughters, and instead of being nervous or tense the way Mr. X made me, they instead... yeah, you know what I'm thinking. After killing them with cold air and blasting them away, you fight Lady Demetress as a dragon. As attractive as she is, it shouldn't be no surprise that this was coming. After pumping her full of lead, it's then on to the dollhouse. I will admit, the castle is probably the highlight for me, but that does not mean the rest of the game is bad. In fact, when I did the dollhouse, I wished I streamed this game so you could see my reaction because man, the dollhouse was the scariest part of the whole game for me, and I'm not even afraid of dolls. After a short blackout, you have no weapons. Yes, no weapons. Not just that either, but there was literally no sound in this place. I also got PT vibes from this too. And man, when I first discovered these cabinets, which I did not know what they were used for until a bit later, you would go inside, but man, I did not want to stay there. Oh no, I was afraid I would trigger something in the game. It's also a good part from a gameplay standpoint because I do like puzzles and that's what you do here. And can I go off tangent for a bit and talk about the first person perspective? I know the series started out with fixed camera angles, and then starting with Resident Evil 4, the series started using the over-the-shoulder third-person view. And 7 in this game have the first-person view. Sure, the first game in the series to use the first-person view was Survivor, but I heard that was not a good game. I haven't played it myself, but apparently I'm not missing out on much. I am, however, glad they tried the first-person view again. I understand some people may have a preference for third-person view, and well, I get it. Third person is better for being more aware of your surroundings. I would never play a Mario or Zelda game in first person. Oh no, that would limit a much needed perspective. However, this one part in the dollhouse is where I think Resident Evil Village benefits from the first person view. Some people tend to argue that the first person view is more immersive, but do you see me interacting with this doll? Sure, it may cost the awareness of your surroundings, but first person view I would say is better for getting a closer look at specific things in the environment. Also, I find it to be that most of the things that try to kill me tend to stay in front of me. I would have a problem with this perspective if I kept getting attacked from all directions. Also, this part with the well, yeah, Capcom totally got that from the Ring. But oh man, another reason why I wish I recorded my reaction to this part is the lights go out and you get chased by this thing. Still no weapons. Oh, so that's what the cabinets are for. A hide and seek game in the dollhouse later and I have my weapons again. Then you deal with Moreau. I may not be an RE4 fan, but RE4 fans will definitely be pleased with some of the RE4 vibes this game has. And Moreau is definitely a callback to that lake boss in RE4. I would not say this is a bad part of the game, but it was kind of my least favorite part. Again, there was nothing wrong with it, I would say. It's a puzzle boss fight, and I know I've been singing praises of this game's puzzles, so I feel a bit hypocritical for speaking less of it. I mean, I understand this might be someone else's favorite part, so I'm just gonna say it's not bad. I'm perfectly fine with replaying this part in a potential second playthrough. It's just not my favorite part of the game, that's all. Lastly, we have Heisenberg's factory, and it's more of what I liked about Lady Demetres's castle, only there's more enemies here and also getting chased by enemies you can kill. Well, without special requirements, that is. Let's just say the red lights on their chest being the weak point makes me glad I decided to go with the accuracy of a mouse on the Steam version. At the end of this level is an awesome boss fight with Heisenberg. Definitely the best fight in the whole game. You control one of Heisenberg's machines and have sort of a long-range mech combat fight with Heisenberg. And then you play as Chris Redfield for a time, pump Mother Miranda full of lead as Ethan. End of the game. Oh, and a couple more things. You acquire guns like the shotgun, sniper rifle, etc. Also, the Duke, which is this game's merchant, allows you to upgrade your weapons and buy supplies. Resident Evil normally has limited resources, but I did not find resources to be limiting in this game because of the Duke. And you can also pick up stuff to craft ammo and things to reveal your health. Your inventory is a suitcase that you Tetris your stuff just like in Resident Evil 4. I may not have liked Resident Evil 4, but I enjoyed this game. How many times have I said I don't like Resident Evil 4 now? But thankfully, none of the callbacks made in this game reminded me of why I did not like that game. In fact, what mainly killed that game for me was Ashley Graham and having to escort her. Thankfully though, no such thing is in this game, so Capcom can do all the callbacks to that game that they want to. That is, if they keep the escort stuff out. Also, I found RE4 to be a bit linear, which is not a preference of mine, but I definitely enjoyed Village more so because of its structure that's in some ways similar to Metroid Prime. One thing I've noticed about 7 remakes of 2 and 3 in this game is, man, these games look awesome. The RE engine doesn't mess around from what it looks like. A very small complaint though. I have come across textures still loading a couple of times, but it's nothing major. The creatures definitely look hideous in a good way, and yeah, that baby in the dollhouse freaked me out. Also, most of us like Lady Demetres's design because she's attractive. Enough said. The castle's interior shows that she has some fancy taste, but man, the dungeons are full of cells and blood, and even journal entry states that not many people survived this place. Also, the dollhouse's complete silence made that part of the game nerve-wracking, in a good way for me. Guns to me sound pretty good, they pack just the right amount of oomph. Voice acting is well acted, they sure have come a long way since the Jill sandwich.
Looks like your outside matches your inside.
I may have said this already, but I'm glad they used Ethan again because they gave him more personality in this game, unlike the piece of wood he was in 7. Seriously, why would you not scream in agony when your hand gets sawed off in 7, Ethan? In my opinion, Resident Evil Village is a keeper. I may not have mentioned the multiplayer expansion RE-verse, but that's because it wasn't out as I was making this video. I've looked at gameplay of it and I may have a video of me playing it in the future, but I began playing Resident Evil games because of quality single player experiences it tends to provide. And really, I could not care less if these games have multiplayer. Also, didn't the remake of 3 have multiplayer and did not quite succeed? Anyway, if you're looking at playing this, I would say you're getting a quality single player experience, which is what makes me go out and buy a game personally just like that, but It's horror first before it's a shooter. It definitely has more combat and enemy variety than 7, but if you're of the Call of Duty crowd, don't expect to just shoot stuff in this game all the time. This game has more gameplay variety than just that. I give this game a 9 out of 10. Sure, RE7 is the scarier game, which by the way, I recommend playing that game first for story reasons. But I can see why the scares were toned down some for this game. Some of the horror stuff in 7 may cross a few lines with some people because they may find it too disturbing, but still. Expect some gore when going into this and have fun when you get to the dollhouse. I'm not sure if I like this game or 7 more because they both excel in different ways. 7 will give you more of a scare, but if combat is your thing, 7 will be kind of underwhelming to you, so you might like this game more if you wanted more combat from 7, which is what this game ups the ante on. I was also pleasantly surprised that the story was more involved in this game. Seeing as I've become an adult, I've learned to appreciate stories in games more. With that being said, thank you for watching this video, and if you liked it, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And also comment below what you thought of the game. Also, a certain game very recently got a PS5 version and DLC. If you've been following this channel, you know what my next video is going to be. You can take a guess in the comments. Have a good night, and take care.